The Firebirds of Ashgrove Tree. On the edge of a forgotten village, nestled between darkened woods and quiet hills, there stood an ancient tree known as Ashgrove. It was no ordinary tree. People spoke of it in whispers, and legends wrapped themselves around its gnarled branches like creeping vines. Ashgrove was a towering presence, its bark ashen gray, the leaves a dark green that never seemed to flutter in the wind. What truly set it apart, however, were the birds, dozens of them, sometimes hundreds, that perched upon its limbs, feathers ablaze with flickering flames. The villagers knew better than to get too close to Ashgrove, for whenever someone approached the tree, the birds would stir, their flames burning brighter, as if warning intruders. And when anyone dared to step closer, a strange phenomenon occurred. The entire tree would erupt in a single burst of fiery light, as though it had become one giant flame. In a flash, the tree would transform into a blazing inferno, a great pillar of fire that rose high into the sky. Yet, just as quickly as it appeared, the flames would vanish, leaving behind nothing but the still, lifeless tree. But what was even stranger, the reflection of Ashgrove could be seen not only in the river that ran near the village, but also in the ponds scattered throughout the woods. No matter how far away one stood from the actual tree, its fiery image would appear, reflected in the water's surface. The birds could be seen flying in and out of the reflection, the flames licking at their wings, though no fire ever touched the water. One crisp evening, a curious traveler named Ilara wandered into the village. She had heard the stories, but there was something inside her that pushed her to investigate. The villagers told her to stay away, warning her of the curse, of the dangerous spirits that resided within the tree. But Ilara, fearless and determined, couldn't ignore the pull she felt toward Ashgrove. She made her way to the clearing where the tree stood, the sun setting in the distance. As she approached, the birds began to stir, their flames igniting, casting a fiery glow on the surrounding shadows. The air around the tree grew warmer, the scent of smoke drifting on the breeze. Yet Ilara pressed forward, her eyes locked on the trunk of the ancient tree. The moment she was within reach of it, the entire tree shuddered, and a low hum filled the air. Then, with a crackling roar, the tree erupted into flames. The fire swirled and danced, but Ilara was unharmed, standing in awe of the magnificent spectacle. The birds, now aflame, flew in wild circles around the blaze, their wings flickering in and out of view as though they were made of living fire. For a heartbeat, Ilara felt as if she could see beyond the flames, into another world, a place of dark beauty where the tree stood not as a tree, but as something ancient and powerful, rooted in the very core of the earth itself. But then, just as quickly as the flames had ignited, they died down, leaving the tree as it had been, silent, unmoving, and strange. Confused, Ilara turned away, but as she did, she noticed something peculiar. The reflection of Ashgrove was not just visible in the river, but in the nearby pond, too. And there, floating in the water's surface, was a faint, glowing silhouette of the birds. Only they were no longer on fire. In their reflected forms, the birds were peaceful, their wings glowing with a soft, ethereal light, as if they had found peace after the storm. Curious, Ilara bent closer to the water's edge. The moment her gaze met the reflection, she felt a sharp, cold sensation run through her, as though the water itself was calling her name. The birds in the reflection began to move, their wings flapping as if they were taking flight, soaring upward toward the heavens. Yet they did not break the surface of the water. They flew within it, as if they were ghosts of the past, tied to the world of the living by some unseen thread. Then, in a voice as soft as the wind, the water spoke. The tree is not just fire, but memory. The flames are not destructive, but reminders of what has been lost. Ilara froze. The water's voice echoed in her mind, sending chills down her spine. The reflection in the water began to shift, showing images of the tree in its prime, once a beacon of life, home to birds of every color, their feathers brilliant and vibrant. But something had happened, something terrible. The The birds had vanished. Ashgrove had burned with a fierce blaze, and the flames had never stopped. The birds had returned, but not in the same way. They were bound to the fire, forever soaring in a world of flame and shadow. The voice continued. To approach the tree is to touch the past, but to leave is to carry it with you forever. With a sudden, unnatural gust of wind, Alara was pulled back, and the reflection vanished. The pond's surface rippled as though nothing had ever been there. The eerie hum of the tree died down, and the birds returned to their stillness, perched once again on Ashgrove's branches, their flames glowing faintly. But Alara knew now that she could never truly leave. Wherever she went, Ashgrove would follow. The firebirds, the echoes of a long-lost time, would forever haunt her, an eternal reflection in her mind's eye, their flames flickering like distant stars in the night sky.